All right, welcome back to my channel, Right on the Edge. My name is Derek, and I wanted to see what is the best forgotten storyline of World of Warcraft. So I played World of Warcraft when I was younger, and I played it a lot. However, I wasn't the enjoy the story sort of guy, you know? I was a get to the end so I can hit big boss and get loot sort of person. And that means I've missed a lot of quests along the way, and I would like to know what this one is.
World of Warcraft's lifetime, there have been thousands of NPCs and stories added to the game, many of which build off of previously established storylines and lore, but sometimes there is a story that Blizzard seems to begin, but ultimately forgets about in the long.
What?
You got me food? Or...
Yeah, it was an extra one.
I got but if you still want it.
No, I'm full. Yeah, you're welcome.
Long run of the game's development, and this is one such case, a questline that was originally introduced to the game during Classic WoW that, if it had been continued, would have had groundbreaking effects on the lore and even the gameplay.
So it's one of the quests that got lost in translation. Now I will say, Tristful Glades and stuff like that is one of my favorite zones to quest in. I don't necessarily like being an undead character, but I do love that area. I love the area of the game.
So without further ado, let's rewind the clock back to
What?
Toby's always waiting until I'm busy to ask me for favorites.
2004 and discover this forgotten gem of a...
He's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, in Seattle. I had gone to Seattle to try and DoorDash.
Yeah.
And right when I got out of the link station, when he calls me, he's like, can I like cash out you money and get me dick? So I'm like, there.
No,
Yeah, I'll talk to Derek.
He had the yeah, he came out here to try to wrangle me into going with him, and I was like, nah, dog, you can take my debit card. That's what you get for losing your wallet. All right.
Quest line in World of Warcraft that most likely many of you have never even heard of. Real fast though, I do have to give a quick shout out to this channel's sponsor, Zygor. It is World of Warcraft's ultimate leveling guide, gold making guide, mounts, pets, achievements, whatever you want. It is linked down below in the description, and you can use code NIXIUM for 20% off.
Well, you ain't gonna fool me, Zygor. I don't have to pay for that. Bitch. But I am going to probably do this quest after this video.
Tirisfal Glades is a zone that is absolutely packed with lore and story, both on the surface and beneath. Fans of Warcraft 3 will recognize this area as the former heart of the Kingdom of Lordaeron, the human kingdom that Arthas Menethil was once the prince of. And although in the past this land was a beacon of light and humanity's prosperity in the north, now
so essentially what happened is a pestilent plague, for people that didn't play WoW, was spread by demons. I forget the demon's name exactly, but anyway, spread by demons, and it started turning people into like mindless undead. Due to, I forget exactly what happened, but certain undead were able to free themselves from the mind control of these demons, and they became the Forsaken, or the undead here. And they're kind of like turned down by everybody. Like nobody wanted anything to do with them because they're, abominations. And yeah, so they ended up forming their own thing under Sylvanas Windranger or Windrunner or whatever. But it's fucking awesome.
Now it's just a decayed ruin of what it once was, overrun with mindless scourge, zealot Scarlet Crusaders, and the recently freed Forsaken trying to rebuild some semblance of what their lives used to be in their decayed homeland. The zone is horribly grim and depressing, whose quests have you not only
but the quests are good. The quests are so good.
Taking out anger upon the scourge that brought ruin to the kingdom, but also upon the Scarlet Crusade, who just see the Forsaken as monsters, despite the fact that they've regained their free wills and ability to think for themselves. Frequently, you're going to find quests that embody how cold the Forsaken have become in their undeath, where they throw aside trinkets of former loved ones. They share no empathy towards their prisoners, and they even show that they have no loyalty towards their fellow Horde faction members. The Forsaken care for nothing and nobody except themselves.
Well, that's because nobody cared for them, man.
as they too see themselves as cursed and forsaken by the holy light. Now, worshiping the cult of the Forgotten Shadow in the ruins of Lordran's former capital city, the Forsaken silently await their day when they can unleash their pain upon the whole of Azeroth, who has judged them so cruelly. And it's among these quests that you'll find one storyline in particular that, admittingly, many people skip due to its requirement of long runs all throughout Tirisfal Glades.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I'd do it. I'm probably going to do it after this video.
That being the Prodigal Lich storyline of Brightwater Lake, a story that could have changed the entire World of Warcraft as we know it had Blizzard continued it in later expansions. The questline begins in the town of Brill, where players will encounter the Magistrate Severin, who instructs them to venture to the Undercity to seek out Bethor Ishard in the Magic Quarter. Okay. Bethor is a high-ranking and very powerful mage, the player is told, who is seeking assistance, an agent to assist him with fighting against the Scourge. Now, we're not told much as to exactly what Bethor wants us to do, but the quest...
Man, I love the Undercity. Dude, it's so cool looking, man. It's just like... it just fits the theme.
Does drop an immediate major hint that would leave any Warcraft 3 fan back in 2004 eager to figure out what happens next. This is what you are told.
Present these orders to Bethor. He will instruct you on your mission.
Oh, I
don't know its details, but it deals with recruiting a wayward lich, and it will be dangerous. So ready yourself. You must not fail.
Now, for those that don't know, a lich is an incredibly powerful necromancer, or leader most of the time within the Scourge, blessed with eternal life by the Lich King himself, as well as this horrifying hovering skeletal form. The most famous lich is, of course, Kel'Thuzad, who players interacted with extensively back in Warcraft 3. So the idea that there's a wayward lich who the Forsaken want to recruit into their ranks, like, that idea sounds not only epic, but it certainly sounds very
it's pretty dope, that's for sure.
Very dangerous as well. It's a great beginning to an awesome quest line. After a bit of running and reaching the Magic Quarter in the Undercity, the players will meet Bethor Ishard, who is quick to give us a rundown of what exactly he is looking for us to do. We are told that there is an island in the middle of Brightwater Lake in Tirisfal Glades, and located on that island is a lich who has taken up residence. Curiously though, Bethor tells us that this lich is not a skeletal horror like Kel'Thuzad or other liches from Warcraft 3, but a Forsaken.
Imagine being able to build...
Wow. Man, I got added just like that.
Anything. For any reason, in any style.
Of free will. However, this lich believes that all other undead that he encounters or has encountered, including the Forsaken, he sees them as Scourge slaves, so he attacks anybody who approaches him. The player is also told that this lich is specifically desired by the Banshee Queen due to his immense knowledge of necromancy, but before he can be recruited, his identity in his life and his talents need to be fully understood first by Bethor and the mages of the Magic Quarter. Therefore,
so essentially they have to know who he was before he became undead. Wow, man, how fascinating.
You are told to sneak into his camp on his little island, steal his spellbook, and return it to Bethor so that he can study it. I always found this phase of the quest to be so fascinating because it reveals to us two things about the mysterious lich that we are about to encounter. The first is that apparently a lich in the lore doesn't necessarily need to be a giant floating skeletal monster like what we've seen with Kel'Thuzad and other liches from Warcraft 3. And second, whoever this Forsaken is, he has to be truly incredibly powerful, insanely powerful in fact, to be put on the same tier as a lich from the Scourge, despite just being a simple Forsaken. But who is this man exactly? Well, the quest is about to continue because we have to learn more. After a very lengthy run back into Tirisfal Glades, players will find themselves at the water's edge of Brightwater Lake. The island, players quickly discover, is is covered with multiple roaming undead bodyguards, all of whom will attack you on sight. And the Lich that we have heard so much about, he stands simply at the head of the zombie horde beside this small campsite that he has constructed for himself. You can't speak to him, but you are able to snag his spellbook after fighting through his guards, which means it's time for you to take yet another trip back to the Undercity, back to Bethor.
neat.
You can already see why a lot of people skip this.
Okay, hold up. Hold up. I actually got it. You know what? I'm going to end this video right here. Because I don't want to spoil myself. I don't want to spoil myself. That's all it is. So yeah, go check this out, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.